Hello everybody, welcome back to Let's Play Kaiserreich France. Let us continue on from where we last left off. We're sending volunteers to the United States. Because if we can at least make sure that the CSA doesn't have a chance to actually win their war, that'll be good for us. Also, it means that the Canadians probably will not intervene in the Civil War, which is something that I do want. Because if the Canadians intervene in the Civil War, it basically means that they're not going to intervene in the Second Weltkrieg, and that's bad for us. Jack Hughes. Dragged by controversial and successful Abel Gance, a pioneer of filmmaking well known for his historical dramas, as well as for his ingenious editing special effects techniques. 20 years in the making, IAQs is a peculiar war story taking French cinema by storm, telling a story of love rivals turned friends on the battlefield of the Great War, for the futile death of one and the slow descent of shell-shock insanity of the other. But it is the ending that had the most divided in opinion, as the crazed man who had vowed to end all wars temporarily relapsed into sanity to find that the world is getting ready for a new great conflict. He springs into action and, in a supernatural storm, calls on the millions of dead of the Weltkrieg, regardless of their nationality, to rise from their grave and punish the living for their foolish obsession with mutual destruction. All over Europe, the dead of the countries hear the call, unite and march on, creating a mass panic and preventing another war. Accused of pacifism and sullying the memory of our war heroes by some, praised for his skill of others, Gance escaped censorship due to his links with veteran associations. Indeed, many veterans are employed during the filming of the movie, in particular many Gaudius Cassis, broken faces, for the great finale. The dead might not rise and march on to prevent the Second Weltkrieg. Those disfigured for the last war want to have their voices heard as war frenzy in our nation rages on. And also, we just get a lot of penalties for that. Thank you. I appreciate it. Maybe we should have censored it. It would have been better for me. When 3 more days, our units will arrive in Washington. And again, I think I want them kind of pushing in this direction. If you can get them up towards Lake Erie, cut the North CSA off from the South CSA, would be our best option here. We're gonna send you to like these provinces. So if you'd move your way up there, please and thank you, I'd really appreciate it. Let's go construction speed next. Could get another leader here. Actually, what about, do we have anybody in the military staff? Give me the organization. Sure, it's only 4%, but I'll take it. Yeah, our units reinforce at 3%. Total Republican purge. In hindsight, probably shouldn't have gone all out on that. Elusive Gentleman. Resistance growth minus 5%. It's really not even that good. Compliance gain. I mean, a lot of this is really just based on trying to... You know what? Give me a 10% experience gain. It'll be good for doctrines. A lot of this is based on trying to make sure that the countries in Sub-Saharan Africa don't revolt. Okay, the Civil War is over. The Socialists have won. Not happy with it, but really not too much I could do about it right now. I mean, I guess we could have sent even more units into the country, but I don't know if that really would have been for the best. I think we can take Pittsburgh. It's a supply depot. When are you going to be here? 1 day, 3 hours. You'll be gone now. Okay, we're gonna fight you again. We're gonna move you up here. We could probably put 100 political power into IEDC. Give me 1 excavation. Yeah, if we can take Pittsburgh, we can get a supply hub for our forces in the area. It'd be quite nice, yeah. Throw 100 political power in this. Use that for... Yeah, I mean... Oh, assistant economy thing's always like the best option. Resource gain. 5% stability and more political power gain. You know what? Yeah, let's do this one. Burnt out village. One of our armored cars patrols in East Britannia stumbled across what remains of a smoldering village. 5%? I mean, 25 days is not so bad. Okay, hold your position here. Once again, it is Eid. Gonna move you up north. The Knights of St. John. The island of Malta, though still a British possession, has been under our control since 1926. Deeply Catholic, the people of Malta were not particularly troubled by the rise of Action Francais and the restoration of the monarchy. though we weren't keen to manage their sensibilities of the immediate aftermath of the coup de force. This is after all merely a temporary occupation, and upsetting the Maltese status quo would mean upsetting our allies. However, we have been approached by representatives of the Sovereign Military Hospitalier, Order of St. John of Jerusalem, of Rhodes, and of Malta, better known simply as the Order of Malta, looking for an agreement with the monarchy. Once the rulers of the island were where they embarked on numerous raids against Barbary pirates, a true fighting force made up of noblest warriors of Christendom. The knights were defeated by the armies of the impostor Bonaparte, Malta annexed, and his possessions seized. The order was exiled and dispersed. The Hospitaliers instead chose to focus on their original mission, caring for the poor and the sick. One exception, an elite auxiliary military corps, mostly dedicated to medical functions, serving with the Italian army. But United Italy is no more, and therein lies the agreement the knights are offering us. In exchange for rather limited concessions, for example, granting extraterritorial to some locations historically associated with the Order, the Knights are offering to reform their auxiliary forces to serve under the French flag, assisting us in our crusade to free the metropole. Of course, this would mean taking liberties with the British colony, something our friends would not appreciate, and the actual benefit would largely consist of propaganda opportunity, though the expertise of the Order is undeniable. What is it that we should do? How can we refuse the help of actual knights? Yeah, you know what? Accept their help. Oh no, the Canadians will get a -10 opinion modifier. Fuck them, who cares? With the tension escalating even further, it's highly surprising that popular culture in our country would reflect the fact. Indeed, the latest song that topped the charts in France is called They Make Excellent Frenchmen, performed by Maria Savier, star of musical comedy and kingpin of French show business. The song lists all the characteristics of a group of soldiers and officers, all coming with different walks of life, all in different occupations. Many middle-aged with families of their own, different faiths, races, and political opinions, all with their own little ailments, and yet, on the core states, all of them make excellent Frenchmen, excellent soldiers. Catchy and comedic, the song's underlying call for unity of our nation is faced with its greatest struggle yet, an exaltation of the French infantryman, always ready to leave everything behind and forget himself to fight to defend his motherland that has made an immediate success. In a nation where everything is mobilized for the coming war effort like ours, each and every man, or even each and every one of us can identify with the sentiment, we will fight, we will win, because we must retake our home. A little bit more war manpower, a little bit of war support. Absolutely A-okay having that. Okay, I'm going to pull you back one province. Just for right now, though. Okay, let us build another military factory. Again, we want to build it in areas that are actually cored, just so they will not be subject to sabotage, or at least subject to not as much sabotage. Maybe it's going to be a little bit of a better way to put it. Okay, invest in military factories, please. I don't have a second field marshal. Give me another field marshal just for this expedition here. Costing 20 command power is not a huge deal. Okay, 82. We can defend against you. Okay, I want to push my way into Pittsburgh. Because again, my ultimate goal is that we can reach our way over to Lake Erie, which we should be able to do. Right? Like, that's something that would make sense. You guys are moving. When will you leave? You'll be gone in 1 day. Okay. French attack. Garrison attacked in French Sudan. Look, can they just, like, stop for a second? Please. Okay, let's send another spy back to Marseille. Like, what are you guys at? 38, 64? Even though, like, you're the most unruly colony, you're still not even, like, that, like, problematic for us. Which I'm happy, for sure. 8790, let's take Pittsburgh. I believe in us, right? Well, someone has to believe in us, and it's going to be me. Okay, let's get localism. It's going to be a 7% stability hit, but we need to get further down our tree, so I don't really have much of a choice in the matter. Okay, let's see if we can open up the railroad here. Okay, now we need to stop you for a second. In the height of Iran stands a citadel built centuries ago by the Spaniards, the fort of Saint Croix. Taken over and restored after the conquest of Algeria, the fort was recently a secondary garrison. However, the sleepy citadel has been bustling with activity for the last few months. A school was created there by the regime to educate the future elites of the nation. Under leadership of Lieutenant Pierre Donnier de Sogniac, a young and fiery officer, and Rien de Naros, military chaplain beloved by his men, the National School of Cadres of Iran was created to an innovative 6-month curriculum to shape hundreds of the brightest youths of the nation into leaders worthy of serving France. With strict discipline, exemplary morality, strenuous physical exercise inspired by scoutism, military training, long hours of study, and a deep sense of camaraderie, Lieutenant Donnier de Sogniac hopes to create a new man, entirely dedicated to the national interest. Interestingly, the students in their retreat between the sea and the sky have begun to shape the spirit of the school themselves, nicknaming Dino de Sogniac Old Chief, though the man is barely 30. They have styled themselves as the Knightly Order, with a motto and coat of arms, spurring an oath to the French and their comrades. A development embraced by the direction of the school, and the romantic image of the school brings even more volunteers. Part of Saint Croix' independence is worrying some within the government, while others consider the school to be slowly but surely into a personality cult around the old chief. It's not a cult, plain and simple, given the increasing mystical Catholic devotion hosted by Pierre de Noras. What should be done? Ability goes down. You know what? I'll just take a simple 1% stability. No reason for me to rock the boat here. Okay, we got American militiamen. You can actually probably push over to Cleveland as well, which is a supply hub. Because if we can take this city, right? If we can take Cleveland, which we now have done, prepare for war. Oh, okay. I do not care even remotely about that. Did it also to say that Brazil has gone social? It's very cool. Very happy to see it. But now, if I'm not mistaken, these guys should not be able to get supplies from Chicago. And that should, you know, kind of worsen their position here, which would be quite nice. I think the Americans are building a railroad to Cleveland. Okay, we got this area pretty much under control. I'm very, very happy with that. I want you to support in this push. Fantastic. Let's connect the railroads together. And if we can get all of the CSA in New England to kind of falter, it would be quite nice for us. For sure. 44%. We're going to move you up and around. We're going to get a little bit of an encirclement against you. Technically, I don't, like... Lake Erie doesn't count as being encircled, which is a bit of a shame for us. You're not going to get all of the penalties that you otherwise might. Yeah, they're trying to push their way in. La Orda's capitulated. Bolivia, Paraguay have faltered as well. Okay, we got American forces here. We still got Pittsburgh under our control. How many troops does MacArthur have? 26 to 69. He's got all these units actually stuck in Maine, so I'm not too sure what his plan up there is going to be. The Algerian Muslim Scouts. In 1935, a scouting troop of Muslim boys was created by Mohammed Barras, supported by reformist Yulmas, traditional elites, and reform-minded Frenchmen, all hoping that scouting would promote physical and moral education, character building, and a sense of responsibility, as well as a duty to Allah and our motherland. Hundreds of troops have been created since, proving popular among all classes as many young boys and teenagers flock to them, drawn by promises of adventure, a sense of belonging, as well as dashing uniforms with red and green bananas. Drawing from Lord Baden-Powell's books, the boys have learned to camp and survive, sing songs, participate in religious ceremonies like Eid and Mawlid, where they parade in uniform. The group even organizes mass Khitan, circumcision of boys around 7 years old, an occasion of much celebration that poor families could otherwise not afford. However, these groups have remained largely isolated from each other, merely sharing values, a flag, and a uniform. As such, representatives from various troops have asked the Colonial administration its blessing to create a federation of Algerian Muslim scouts that would promote greater cooperation and standardization of scouting practices among the indigenous. Already, prominent native voices like Ferhat Abbas and a diverse coalition of French reformists campaigned for the official approval of such a federation, arguing that we would promote traditional values along with loyalty to France. While some more conservative Pierre Noirs argue that the Boy Scouts are groomed for the Red-Green Jihad by the syndicalist agents of Masid Hajj. Native scouting is a bad idea altogether, and that the party they are loyal to is not France but Algeria. More pragmatic voices in the government argue that giving our approval to the Federation would grant us greater oversight over a largely autonomous initiative. Yeah. We'll spend 20 political power on that. I think that seems more than reasonable for us. Are we going to get completely encircled? Gotta make sure that that doesn't happen here. Okay, we've got a Polish election. Hold our position here. Who won the election? The Conservatives. Okay. We will see how that goes for them. If we can free these MacArthur troops in Maine, I think that would be really, really nice. I mean, if we just gotta basically take this one province, right? It's like we could probably actually do that. If I went to Philadelphia. Can we not take boats when you're volunteering? I guess not. Okay, some units here. I think this is good for us. I mean, the CSAs, I think they're extending themselves like way too far. I'm not too sure what their whole plan of this area is. Not what I would do if I was playing at the CSA right now. But I think that at least for right now, this is going to be a good time for us to end this episode. So thanks everybody for watching. My name is Anthony. If you enjoyed, remember, thumbs up. Not doing, close thumb down. Want to see more, subscribe, and goodbye.